Best of luck to all our candidates. Thank you. Let's see. Next on the agenda is our featured speaker. We have Idona Griffith here tonight, and just a little bit about Idona. Even though she's been here, I think this is her third time. Idona is a retired music and theater director who earned a bachelor's degree in music education from UT Austin. Idona is currently the president of Blue Action North Austin and also the super precinct captain for the Spicewood Springs area and the precinct chair of precinct 267. In 2019, Idona joined the Travis County Democratic Party Policy and Legislature Committee and began engaging with like-minded Democrats through a rapid response team that notified constituents of important bills needing action. Idona returns tonight to review with us the 17 proposed Texas constitutional amendments on the November ballot. The constitutional amendment legally changes the Constitution to adjust rights or government powers. Therefore, the vote for or against amendments is critical. We have provided you with a summary document, which was on the front desk, of the proposed amendments with the Travis County Democratic Party's position for each proposition. And so there are some copies there. There's also a QR code that will link you to the document if there weren't enough handouts. Let's see, Idona will now review, sorry, there's a fly right here. Idona will now review and support opposition to the proposed amendments. And I just want to make, she brought with her, and we just found out this got loaded onto the League of Women Voters, right? The voting, the voter's guide. So it's on there and available. So if you go to the League of Women Voters, you'll be able to find this. But it also has a summary and an explanation of each of the propositions. So this would be very useful in conjunction with what Idona is going to speak to you about tonight. So I think I just wanted to say we have a couple of, these are the handouts, so I don't know if you can see it up here, but this is in color, and this is information and contents about the propositions and the TCDP's for and against, what they are for and against. And then we have here, this is a cheat sheet to take to the polls. You can choose which propositions you're for and against. And also we have the City Council and the LVISD board members, so you can circle what you want and bring this into the poll booth with you, because it's my understanding you cannot use your phone in the poll booth. So anyways, we have that. And so with that, I would like to bring Idona up here and tell us what's going on with these things.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eileen, and thank you all for having me once again. Sure. I don't know that I need that's 35 years of teaching vocal music and theater. That's right. And you know, I couldn't agree more with what Andrew said. The school system, the number one priority is the students. Even as a teacher, that's our number one priority. I used to tell my kids, I don't teach music, I teach kids. And music is the medium that I use. And so that was how I lived. I will tell you, because you all, I'm not sure why you keep asking me out here, except I love coming. I really do. You know, you all are a strong blue pulse out here in far northwest Travis County that is very refreshing, and I never cease to be just impressed and inspired by you and the work that you do out here in your community. So, okay, 17 proposed amendments. Now, let's just start with the fact, as Eileen said, this is law. This is not just a law that's signed by the governor. that maybe in 10 years down the road, when we have sane people in Austin, that we will be able to turn some things around. These are things that once we put them into the Constitution, they're not going to be changed easily. And that's the case with some of these amendments, particularly the ones that say, let's ban estate taxes forever, let's ban income taxes, let's ban, what is the other one? Ban a tax on trading stock. I mean, I don't want that kind of language in the Constitution. It's just too, it's too definite, it's too hard to get rid of once it's there. So as you're looking at these, keep that in mind. What I did, because I also believe that if I tell someone how I'm voting, it's kind of like giving them a fish, right? They will be able to eat and they will have nourishment for a day. But if I give them the tools to do their research and figure out more about the issue than just how I feel about it, then you are learning to fish. And you will be stronger voters, more reliable voters in the future, not just you, but the people that you go and talk to after you leave this place. That's where our job is. You're already voters. I don't even need to tell you that October 20th is the first day of early voting. You already have that on your calendar. I know you do. Our problem is getting our friends and neighbors to the polls. And that's the issue. That's why it's good to have several different viewpoints. What I like about the League of Women Voters is that it's completely nonpartisan. I'm partisan. I mean, I am. I'm unapologetically strong, liberal Democrat, progressive Democrat. I make no apologies for that. I can see you are too. But honestly, the way they have laid this out here, by giving first the ballot language and then an explanation of what that means, because nobody can read that. Not even the damn lawyers know what that says. And then each one of the amendments has just 3 or 4 bullet points in arguments for and arguments against. And I really think that as you're talking to people, especially people that you already know are not strong liberal Democrats, that's not the message they want to hear. They want to hear what are people talking about? What exactly does it do? And why is it bad or why is it good? Now, if you want to go through each one of these one at a time, I'd be happy to do that. If you want to just peruse it for a minute and pick 2 or 3 that you have a question about, we can do it that way too. Whatever is easiest for you. I'm not here to preach to you, I promise. So I don't necessarily see a need to go through every single one. How do you feel about that? Is that okay? All right. So are there any that you have particular questions on? The ones that pop up are the ones where, now I did a 5 column over here. Eileen just did the TCDP because, we are part of the Travis County Democratic Party. But I have some other organizations and individuals, including Vicki Goodwin, that I wrote down for comparison. So that when I look across, I can see that on number 9, for instance, there's 1 neutral, 2 for, and 2 against. And so that piques my interest. That's like, okay, I need to know more about exactly what that says and why it's split like that. And then again, on there are 2 or 3 of them that are like that Number 9, I guess that's the big one. But anyway,
Yeah, let's talk about number 9, please.
number 9, let's talk about number 9. And for that, let me go to the voter's guide. First of all, what you have on your sheet is the business tax equipment exemption. And my comment on that, my comment was more of a neutral. That's why it's in black print instead of red or green. It's good on the surface, but it does carry the risk of abuse by corporations. Not that corporations would practice any kind of abuse. Just saying. So here's what League of Women Voters says. Here are the explanation is local taxing authorities such as cities, counties, hospital districts, school districts, local college districts tax personal property held or used for the production of income. This is a source of income used by these entities to pay for the services they provide to residents. Business property, personal property that is held or used for production of income includes inventory, computers, office furniture, manufacturing equipment, vehicles, machinery, supplies, does not include real estate. Currently, $2,500 of business personal property is exempt from ad valorem taxes. This proposed amendment would increase that to, wow, $125,000. It's at $2,500 now, and we're going to increase that to $125,000. That seems a little excessive. The arguments for is that it would ease the tax burden on small businesses. It would simplify tax reporting for small businesses. The legislature could use part of the state's general revenue to make up for any funding loss to districts. The arguments against are the legislature did not provide additional monies to cities, counties, hospital districts, and college districts. To make up for the loss of revenue, these local taxing entities may have to raise taxes or cut services. Number 3, the legislature may not be able to make up for the difference in the loss of funds to school districts who are already underfunded and running on deficit. And the proposed amendment favors businesses at the expense of local residential taxpayers and taxing authorities. So there is a positive for especially small business, but the way it's written, I think you can see how it could be used, it could be abused by those who are much wealthier than you and I. Does that help?
Or we would all become LLCs and claim it.
I'm sorry?
Or we shall become individual LLCs and claim it.
Well, there you go. We could certainly do that.
It's cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is curious that all these are raised on odd election years.
Well,
There's a strategy in that.
the reason that happens, though, is because they come out of the legislature.
I understand that, but they always come out on low turnout elections.
That's right. But once again, the legislature meets only once every 2 years, and it's the odd year.
And another thing that the governor could change.
That,
Should be changed in the amendment.
I love that. You know, until I started working and going down to the State House every day, practically during session, I always thought that the Texas legislature should, I mean, we're a big state, we're a wealthy state. They should meet every year.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God. I don't think I could do that. You know?
Each person buddy in Austin, and every special session disrupts the budget process.
Disrupts what?
Disrupts the budget process.
Yeah, yeah.
I think meeting every year would maybe cut back on a lot of special sessions too.
Yes.
I do too.
It would
I do
actually
too.
save the state.
I mean, I'm really kind of teasing. I do think
Yeah.
we should meet every year.
And it would save the state money and
Yeah.
Yes.
administrative costs by meeting them every year.
Yep.
You said there were a couple of other amendments that were
There's,
not clear in.
I just want to say something, sorry. We're talking about $2,000 was originally, and they're gonna raise it to $120,000. This is for businesses, right?
right,
So if you want to buy a machine for a business, a laser cutter, or I don't know, it depends on what your business is. $100,000, it seems right. $2,000 won't buy you anything.
well, now that's true, that's a good point. See, that's why,
It needs to be written
that's,
better, I think. Not, it's not that the increase is a bad thing, it's poorly written, so that there are a lot of avenues for abuse. It needs to be tightened up, is
Yeah.
what it is.
I
Not
agree.
necessarily a bad thing.
right,
It's just, it's very ambiguous is a good word,
Right.
and how that can be done. If it had, they should take a lesson from TABC, talk about rules. I mean, there is no wiggle room with anything with them, and if they could write other bills for that,
Yeah.
or propositions that were that tight, then these wouldn't be bad things, all of them, because there would take out that wiggle room for abuse.
It
Sure.
doesn't belong stamped in the Constitution.
I
No.
agree.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Wrong
And-
place.
So if you keep that in the back of your mind as you go through and make these decisions, I think that will help. I mean, that doesn't mean that a tax exemption increase shouldn't happen. It just means it doesn't need to be in the state constitution.
Because it does end up being ambiguous.
Right. The same thing is true with number 12. Number 12 says judge oversight changes.
Oh, yeah.
The proposed amendment addresses who selects the members of the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, which is a Texas state agency that investigates judicial misconduct and disabilities. And so then it explains some of the ways that is affected. The arguments for that are by allowing the governor 2 or more members rather than allowing the Texas bar to appoint the members. I'm not interested in him appointing anyone to anything except, yeah, never mind.
I don't think it's the governor's job to do that.
No, it's not. It's totally
Whoever
not.
it is.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
The Constitution already provides for the process.
Yep.
Then the entity that is under that part of the Constitution should write their own rules
Yeah.
and not be part of the Constitution.
Wait, this doesn't have anything to do with the legislative process.
No.
It shouldn't be part of state law.
No.
Right.
So, and that's pretty much what the arguments against are. Any others?
You talk about number 4, dedicated water fund.
Sure.
Oh, gosh, yes.
That's an interesting one because it's not as straightforward as it seems, which shouldn't really surprise any of us. So the State Water Fund is already in existence. It was created in 2023 and administered by the Texas Water Development Board to assist in financing water projects in Texas. This proposition would provide that each fiscal year, the first $1 billion of sales tax revenue in excess of $46.8 billion would be allocated to the Texas Water Fund. This funding would continue through 2047 and would be used to address future water needs in Texas. The amount could be adjusted by the legislature with a 2/3 vote. The arguments for it would be used to upgrade aging water infrastructure as well as new water supply projects. Increasing Texas water supply is critical. You and I know that. We're running out of water. And if you as a group want more information on that, I would invite you to invite Commissioner Bridget Shea on the Travis County Commission's Court. She is the resident expert in the area on that. And she has some amazing information, data, and great ideas for how to help. Sorry, that was a detour. Okay. The arguments against are that new water supply projects, such as seawater desalination and the reuse of produced water, could pose environmental risk if adequate safeguards are not put in place. The proposed amendment transfers oversight of the monies from the legislature to the governor-appointed Water Development Board.
Well, again, the governor does appoint so many boards and
That's true.
anyway, it's already.
That's true.
I think that process itself should be changed,
I do too.
but
I do too. I wish we could just change the whole world tonight and be done with it.
But anytime somebody can just appoint people, it's, no matter who it is, there's gonna be some favoritism there. And that's a flawed system, no matter which side of the aisle you're on.
Right. Now, personally, I'm for this. I'm not
In general, yeah.
in general, because I think we have to do something. And right now, we're not doing anything.
I think we need to make developers have a water plan before they tear
Wouldn't
up.
that- Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Just
That's-
ask Georgetown.
Yeah,
They got into big trouble over that.
yeah.
So is that a requirement right now, that the developers have a water plan?
No. Oh, no.
There's
No.
nothing
No.
that says they have to have a water plan.
Here in Texas, we don't like regulation so much.
Bless their hearts.
Right.
We don't want people to tell us what to do and how to do it.
Unless it's in the bedroom.
Say what?
Unless it's in the bedroom.
I'm sorry.
Unless it's in the bedroom.
Oh, my, or the bathroom, right? Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah. What do
We
need
will
to
be
process?
here all
Okay.
night. No.
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
What about number 14?
All right, let's look at 14. Dementia Research Institute.
What?
Dementia. Nice, very nice. All right, you
Couldn't pass that
guys are messing with an old lady. Damn.
What?
By the way, I will be leaving right after I finish. Not
Are you
because I
sure?
don't love you guys, but because my eyesight sucks.
Oh, I know.
And I don't drive at night so well. And I have an hour's drive. And I live in the far northwest part of Austin. Wow. That's how big Travis County is. I mean, it just boggles my mind every time coming out here.
Well,
We
it's
want
moving
you to be
right along,
safe.
but you need to be off the road.
I do need to be off the road. All right,
Which way are you going, so I make sure I'm not going there?
I'm not saying. I may have my personal jet just come out here
There
and
you
pick
go,
me up.
that'll work.
Sorry about that Texas accent, folks. It just comes out every now and then. I also am an Austinite. I grew up here, like your Brian did, and I've lived other places, but this is home. And for all its warts, Texas is where I want to be, and I think you all feel that way too. All right, the arguments for this are the need for more proven dementia preventative strategies and treatments, more than some statistics. Yes, a lot of people, all of us have known someone who has suffered to some degree with dementia or the worst form, which is Alzheimer's. It is terrible, and yes, definitely more research. The arguments against are that agency leaders would be appointed by politicians, which could lead to the distribution of money based on favoritism rather than scientific experience. Not that the Republicans or anyone in MAGA would show any sort of favoritism. You know, Letitia James was just indicted. Yeah.
She was.
Yep, one count of bank fraud, because she declared that one place was her personal residence and her primary residence, and she decided not to live there after all, but didn't get it changed. So, yeah.
That means they're going after Ken Paxton. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be
So
nice?
question on number 14. Is that saying that we want Texas to have its own scientific research institute,
Yeah,
but that it's going to be appointed by whoever's governor?
right.
And how big is this? Do they say how big the research institute's going to be? Is it going to be 50 people, 100 people?
They don't say.
150?
They don't put a budget.
They do not.
So number 14 is a little iffy.
It's very loose.
It's very loose. So one of the arguments against is that rather than creating a new government agency, bureaucracy, if you will, the money should be returned to the citizens of Texas. And medical research should be left to the private sector and the free market. That's how we get it done without favoritism,
Yeah.
without involving political interests. And I think that,
No, but on the other hand, I mean, you've got NASA, you've got CDC, those are all government agencies.
But they are Texas.
They're not market driven, they're not free market driven. If you leave it to the free market, you're gonna have, the equivalent of drug companies doing all the research.
Well, maybe when they fund schools adequately, then we could afford to do this.
right?
Well, then it's never gonna get done.
Well, maybe.
I mean, honestly,
14 should be against instead of for.
but see, there again, that's up to you.
Right.
Look at the arguments on both sides and then decide for yourself. I don't think I'm going to vote for it. I'm not even sure on all of these, folks. I'm still working it out, I mean, in some cases, there's just not a clear-cut choice. But once again, I urge you to consider that this is a amendment to the state constitution.
And once it's there.
And once it's there, it is hell to get rid of. So,
Well, and another concern is if you don't realize all these memory care facilities, none of them take Medicare or Medicaid or private insurance.
yeah,
So they're very much privatized, so they're
Yep.
very exclusive. Otherwise, you end up in an old folks' home with Alzheimer's and no true care.
I know.
So in a way, that could be a foreshadowing of what this could become.
sure. Yeah, like, I don't know if you know this or not, folks, but the big, beautiful revised maps that we have now, they're already in the courts, they're already being heard. We should know something in less than a week on the decisions on that, the decision is whether or not we can, because it'll go further. It's not going to stop in the court that it's in. It'll be appealed. But the judge has to decide whether or not to stop it in its tracks or to let it continue while, be implemented while it's being challenged in court. You may or may not know that the maps that were drawn in 2021 are still being challenged in court.
Yeah,
So,
takes almost a decade.
yeah. Anyway, that's all I have, folks.
Well, that's plenty.
Thank you, folks, and thanks again for all you do. And I love coming out here. I won't see you again until late spring.